Hello friends, welcome back to the Blockchain Report where we discuss all things blockchain technology, digital assets, DeFi, NFTs, and much more. Today we'll be diving into some news, got some big news for you, big moves in the market, and FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried has been arrested, but we'll dive into that a little bit more later on in the show. Let me see it. Make sure I got this up and going. Okay. So I'll just exit out of that. Okay. Now we good to go. So first we'll jump into the markets. We had some CPI data for November come out, and we'll kind of go into this in the first news story. But I guess it was under expectations. I haven't really looked at it today, but we got nice big movement. Although we're still down. Poor Bitcoin. So let me see if I can zoom in on this. So this is after the SBF collapse, FTX collapse. And isn't it funny that we haven't even got halfway back up to this retrace yet? So this news, we can barely get a good pump. I don't know if we're gonna have a lot more great news to push us up over this point of control right here. So just be careful with the longs. Be careful with the longs. You know, it's not a good idea to chase right now, as you can see. Chase could end up being bad for you, or it could pump up another $1,000 today, or a couple hundred. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting to see. I might put in some short. I don't know. I'll have to see how this whole news plays out. If we don't have any alarming news coming out soon, then we may have a little bit more to pump. I'm just not sure. Not sure. We come down. We'll have to retest one of these in a little pullback. But yeah, market cap still under $1 trillion, 900 billion. Bitcoin ETH dominance about the same. Gas pretty low. And we'll just kind of go into it, man. Bitcoin hurdles towards 18,000 as inflation comes in below expectations. Crypto stocks soar. Bitcoin jumped to trade at 17,890 as Ether rose over 6% to 1327. U.S. inflation for November came in below expectations at 7.1% year on year. The Bitcoin prices soared following lower than expected U.S. inflation data for November. Crypto stocks bounced in line with U.S. stock futures. And I mentioned this before. So interest rate traders are now pricing in an 81% chance of a 50 basis point increase by the FOMC tomorrow, which will be the 14th. Crypto stocks and structured products, U.S. stocks futures jumped on the news with S&P gaining 2%. Yeah, essentially just we got better than expected data, and we may see a better or lower or in line expected move on the interest rates. Oh, excuse me. So that'll be nice. We got a little pop, but they said the charts have been kind of expecting this. Now hindsight's always 20/20, but yeah, there's some better TA experts on this, so you can check with other people, but I just kind of learn from them and get my ideas. So yeah, we'll see how the FOMC meeting goes tomorrow. I might be on with a little video to give my thoughts and see what the market's doing. But the biggest news, the man-child, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried arrested in the Bahamas yesterday. U.S. authorities filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried, and the Bahamas intends to extradite him once U.S. officials request it. So the Royal Bahamas Police Force arrested FTX founder SBF. The arrest came after the U.S. filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried, the statement said, and the nation expects the U.S. to request the Bahamas extradite Bankman-Fried in short order. As a result of the notification received and the material provided therewith, it was deemed appropriate for the Attorney General to seek SBF's arrest and hold him in custody pursuant to our nation's Extradition Act. Statement attributed to Attorney General Ryan Pinder said, at such time as a formal request for extradition is made, the Bahamas intends to process it promptly, pursuant to Bahamian law and its treaty obligations with the United States. Oh, your girlfriend's calling. A tweet from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York confirmed that prosecutors in the U.S. indicted Bankman-Fried, though the indictment remains under seal. So this is a big step. According to the New York Times, the charges could include wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, and related conspiracy charges. Oof. Man. It's just not a good situation to be in. So, see if there's anything. Yeah, he was arrested. Reference to various financial offenses against laws of the U.S., which are also offenses against laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. He will appear in court on Tuesday, which is today, and his attorneys did not. Mark Cohen, Bankman-Fried's attorney, did not immediately return a request for comment. And the new CEO of this company kind of dive into it here. He said that he's never seen anything quite like the corporate governance and documentation failures he found at FTX. Among other issues, he found that FTX heavily commingled customer and corporate assets, losing billions along the way. In his prepared remarks published earlier Monday, he said his new team had managed to secure about $1 billion of company assets to date. And they're said to believe... They said there's believed to be another 500 million to $1 billion of real estate available. So that's where that situation is. And a little bit more on the new CEO of FTX, who is John Ray III, who helped navigate Enron after their downfall. So... yeah, and the CEO basically says that he embezzled customer funds right in front of our eyes. He said that the misdeeds inside the crypto giant weren't like the sophisticated, highly orchestrated crimes he encouraged when taking apart Enron 2 decades ago. This is really old-fashioned embezzlement, he said before the U.S. House Financial Services Committee. This is just taking money from customers and using it for your own purpose. Not sophisticated at all. If there was complexity, he said, it was in the way the senior managers were able to sort of hide it from people, frankly, right in front of their eyes. When pressed about whether founder and former CEO SBF had committed crimes, he hesitated. We're trying not to lay judgment or put labels on actions, he said, adding that his primary job was finding money for those who were harmed. Obviously, there's been a failure here of massive proportion. Ultimately, I think others will judge him by his actions. As Ray picks through the wreckage of the company, Bankman-Fried drove spectacularly into the ground. The former CEO was arrested in the Bahamas and is facing U.S. criminal charges. Yep. And against the backdrop, Ray testified in the hearing that that was supposed to include Bankman-Fried, telling the panel that a group of untrained executives with no interest in safe corporate practices was responsible for gathering billions of dollars from customers and investors. Yeah, there was no independent board, no coherent record keeping. and he used QuickBooks, I believe. Yeah. So Ray, who performed the same task when Enron fell into ruin, said the dysfunction at FTX was long-standing. There was no independent board. Yeah, this is not something that happened overnight or within the course of a week. There was absolutely no internal controls whatsoever. Employees would communicate invoicing and expenses on Slack. He said, referring to the communications app, and he said the team used the off-the-shelf accounting software QuickBooks. Nothing against QuickBooks. It's a very nice tool, just not for a multi-billion-dollar company. So can you see the whole craziness of this? You have this dude who's using people's funds and using just basic off-the-shelf software for accounting, and even more just awful shit is that they stored private keys without encryption. So FTX previously stored private keys without encryption, the exchange's new chief, John Ray III, said. And yeah, leaving hundreds of millions of dollars vulnerable to theft or other malicious activity. The revelation was part of the prepared testimony to the U.S. House Financial Services Committee from new chief executive, who said he took steps to secure more than $1 billion worth of digital assets. Private keys are used to access and authorize funds held in crypto wallets, and they must be carefully stored on systems that simultaneously leverage encryption technology. When private keys are stored in an unencrypted fashion, they may have exposed and the now collapsed cryptocurrency exchange to unauthorized transfers, security experts say. FTX storing private keys unencrypted would allow any employee with internal systems access or any external actor who is able to obtain system access to move and or steal customer funds relatively trivially. Since the keys were previously stored unencrypted on FTX, there are a variety of ways in which someone can acquire private keys, such as by hacking into a system or phishing attempts. So, yeah, last month, exchange wallets belonging to FTX were seemingly hacked to the tune of an estimated $300-400 million, per estimates from security firms Halborn and PeckShield. While the identity of the hacker has still remained unknown, Bankman-Fried spoke of a disgruntled employee or a bad actor who may have stolen private keys to its crypto wallets. Yeah, it just seems a little bit sketchy. Seems a little bit sketchy right there. I don't trust it. I don't trust the hack at all. This whole thing is just a nightmare. And we have some kind of light at the end of the tunnel getting this guy. There's still other bad actors that were involved behind the scenes that may never be held accountable. And the rest of the team, I don't even know what's going on with that. Who knows? But this is a big step. Big step. And we'll see whether or not he gets taken out sooner than expected. I hope not. I hope he actually faces some justice. But there's not a whole lot more to go on right now on this story. And one last little bit of news before I jump out of here is the Consensus, the team behind ZK, EVM. They launched their private beta testnet. So Web3 ecosystem developer Consensus unveiled its zero-knowledge Ethereum virtual machine network for private beta testing via a blog post today, December 13th. Designed and operated by Consensus, developers can deploy and manage decentralized applications using tools such as MetaMask, Truffle, and Infura as if they were using the EVM directly. In addition, users can bridge assets between the Goerli testnet and the ZK EVM to test their smart contracts, and decentralized apps. Testnet participants can also bridge tokens, transfer tokens, and interact with deployed dApps. Listed on our upcoming ecosystem portal page, we intend to learn whether the developer experience of the ZK EVM has the potential to accelerate innovation in Web3 and we'll be evaluating feedback from the community to inform our next step. So here it is. Scaling of Ethereum. I thought I filled this out, but I guess I did not. Huh. I'm just gonna yeah, I'm gonna put in yeah. Give me one moment while I see if this is still available. Let me get these bridges, dog. Get them bridges. Okay. But yeah, consensus, ZK EVM launching, testnet launched, and we don't know if there's any details regarding on how early testers will be rewarded or if there will be any newly issued tokens tied to the ZK EVM. So check it out, have some fun. Oh yeah, and I also wanted to touch on this. Binance having a lot of craziness going on with their withdrawals, but I think they had a freeze on their USDC assets, and there was some, I don't know what the issue is behind it or the fear behind it. So yeah, keep an eye on Binance. I don't have any of my funds there anymore. The only thing I use is KuCoin, and not really Coinbase anymore. But yeah, it's really all I got for today. Nice little short episode. Check the markets. Yeah, just make sure you guys are keeping your stops tight. If you're long, if you're short, make sure you're not risking more than this high right here. So, that being said, appreciate y'all so much. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.